Poverty, a seven-letter word but affects millions of people around the world, whereby poor countries' citizens barely able to meet their basic needs, including food, shelter, and clothing. And this often ignites economic disparities. So the inadequacy of resources of poor countries limits their capacity to provide for its people, leading to healthcare challenges, lacking of infrastructure development, and education disparities. But the question now is there really a way to combat or end poverty? So that's what we're going to discuss today. So good evening everyone. We are the Group 1 and today we'll be presenting the World Bank.
Don't you know that the World Bank is like a financial superhero for less developed countries? Yes, you heard it right, because it provides loans and grants for low income countries in pursuing capital projects that they are unable to fund, including infrastructure development, such as the roads, the bridges, and the power plants, education initiatives, healthcare programs, and environmental sustainability projects. What's more, the World Bank teams up with the United Nations to tackle big global problems like poverty, hunger, healthcare, and climate change. So it is not all about money, it is all about helping the world become a better place. Overall, the World Bank remains a significant player in the international development landscape, working toward a world where poverty is reduced and sustainable development is achieved in partnership with its members countries. Speaking of the mission of the World Bank, its primary mission is to combat poverty and encourage sustainable economic growth in developing nations. In what way? Through providing loans, grants, and their expertise. The World Bank strives to elevate living conditions and stimulate economic progress in these countries with a long-term perspective that ensures stability and prosperity.
So now let's proceed to the structure of World Bank. World Bank is one of the strongest AAA ratings with credit ratings agency. World Bank has two main institutions, mainly IBRD and IDA. International Bank Reconstruction Development primary works with middle income and creditworthy low income countries to reduce poverty and promote sustainable development. IDA, on the other hand, provide concessional loans and grants to help these countries address pressing development challenges. So, in short, IBRD charge interest while IDA does not. World Bank also includes three more entities, which is IFC, or the International Finance Corporation, that works with the businesses and entrepreneurs to support private sector development and investment in developing countries. The next one is Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, that provides political risk insurance and credit enhancement to encourage foreign investment in developing countries. And lastly, we have the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, that provides facilities for the arbitration and conciliations of investments disputes between governments and foreign investor.
So now let's understand the primary functions of World Bank organization. So note that these are just some. So the first one is providing financial assistance. So this is the main function of the World Bank to provide financial assistance specifically to low to middle income countries worldwide. So in what way? Through loans, grants, and concessional financing. So allow me to differentiate these three. So when we say loans, this means allowing others to borrow money but needs to pay interest. Next is grant, allowing others to borrow money without requiring them to repay or without requiring them for repayment. Another thing is concessional financing. This means zero interest loan or extending loans to others without obliging them to pay for interest. The next one is technical expertise and knowledge sharing. So this expertise is crucial for its member countries seeking guidance in designing their policies and projects. The third one is environmental and social sustainability. So this helps member countries pursue development in a way that are environmentally responsible and socially inclusive. So we also have here the history of the World Bank. So the World Bank was founded during the Bretton Woods Conference in the Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, USA. It was during July 1944. So basically, World Bank started with only 38 members. And if we are going to talk about who established the organization, we have here John Maynard Keynes and Harry Dexter White. Moreover, during the conference, there were 44 delegates from different countries came together to create a framework for international monetary cooperation and economic development after the World War II. So basically, the construction of the World Bank was mainly the purpose of construction of World Bank was to fund for reconstruction during the World War II. The next one is it also created the IBRD and the IDA, which is some of the um, institutions included in the World Bank. The next one is we know that the World Bank and the IMF are both based in the Washington, D.C.
To strengthen our claims about World Bank, here are some of the projects funded by World Bank. First is the Social Welfare and Development Project. Here in the Philippines, the SWDP is aimed at strengthening the Philippines' social protection systems. It includes the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, a conditional cash transfer program for low-income families. Second, the Land Tenure Regularization Project of WANDA. The project aimed to formalize land tenure arrangements in WANDA, leading to increase in security for citizens. Third, the Kenya Electricity Expansion Project. The project expanded access to electricity in Kenya, particularly in rural areas. It has boosted economic activities, improved living conditions, and provided new opportunities for education and healthcare. These are indications that World Bank does its duty fulfill its objectives. Thank you.
Member countries of the World Bank. As of September 2021, the World Bank has 189 member countries, with some of the earliest members listed including United States, United Kingdom, France, China, India, Brazil, Canada, Australia, Argentina, Mexico, Egypt, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Sweden, and Norway. Now let's proceed to the top 10 borrowers of the World Bank. These are based of the amount of their debts. First, India and China has 100 billion, Indonesia has 40 billion, Pakistan 30 billion, Nigeria 15 billion, Bangladesh, Brazil and Vietnam has 10 billion, and Philippines and Turkey has 8 billion.
Now let's proceed to the sources of funds of World Bank. We included four sources of funds of World Bank. First is capital contributions from member countries, in which each member countries financially contribute to the institution that is based on its size and economic capacity. Second is borrowing from international capital markets, which allows it to borrow money from international capital markets at favorable terms. It issues bonds and securities in global financial markets to raise its funds. Third is income from loans and credits. The World Bank provides loans and credits to member countries for various development projects. The interest and principal payments received from these loans generate
Pati kay
revenue
Felix
for the
yung cellphone.
institution and to continue its operations. Lastly is dividends and returns from investments.
Felix yung cellphone.
The
Ate yung
World
malas ko
Bank
pa.
may also earn income from its investments in various financial instruments and projects which contributes to its overall funding.
Now, allow me to discuss how the Philippines became a member of World Bank. Philippines became a member of World Bank in 1945. As a member, the Philippines participates in the governance and decision-making processes of the World Bank. The World Bank has also provided significant financial support to the Philippines over the years in terms of 1. Infrastructure development, 2. Education, 3. Healthcare, 4. Environmental sustainability, and lastly, poverty reduction. The first project of World Bank in the Philippines was Binga Power Project in 1957. It was funded the construction of hydroelectric power station in Benguet.
So I also want to highlight the contributions of World Bank in these following sectors. So through financial support of the World Bank, they are able to fund the following development in each country. Next is infrastructure development. So the World Bank has also provided fundings and technical assistance in the numerous infrastructure projects in the Philippines, including construction of roads, bridges, ports, airports, and many more. Next is education. The World Bank also has provided funding and technical assistance to enhance the quality of education in the Philippines. Includes programs aimed at improving access to quality education, teacher training, and the curriculum development. Next one is healthcare. The World Bank also has supported healthcare projects in the Philippines, including efforts to improve healthcare facilities, expand access to healthcare services in each city. Next one is social protection. It also worked with the Philippines in providing cash transfer to those indigent people for their um, um, for living in order to sustain their living every day. Next one is disaster resilience and recovery. We know the vulnerability of the Philippines in terms of calamities. So the World Bank provides funds for disaster preparedness, also for construction of damaged properties after calamities. Next one is COVID-19 response. The World Bank provided testing kits and vaccination and also the facilities for those COVID patients during COVID-19 pandemic.
Despite the good image the World Bank through its project and narration to its member countries, it still faces criticism from the public. But here's the World Bank's solution on this. The first criticism about World Bank is lacking transparency and accountability in decision-making process. Second is some of the projects are negatively impact of the environment. And last, the concerns about project displacing vulnerable communities or worsening inequality. But the World Bank has its own way to overcome them. By disclosing information about their fundings, World Bank promotes transparency. The World Bank also supports renewable energy and environmentally friendly projects, and they prioritize social inclusion by involving local communities in project design, ensuring equitable benefits, and conducting true social impact assessments.
Here are the future priorities and initiatives of World Bank. World Bank wants to help countries to have a natural resource that can provide livelihoods for billions of people by investing in climate-related projects and achieve a sustainable growth that requires better integrating environment, climate, and development actions. World Bank wants to ensure that workers and households are well equipped to take advantage of productive employment opportunities. That's why fostering inclusive growth and inequalities are one of their priorities to enhance income opportunities. The World Bank wants to provide knowledge and financing to help close the global digital divide and make sure countries can take full advantage of the ongoing digital development revolution. World Bank wants to help not only the countries but also the economic growth and its people, supporting our environment by accelerating economic growth and have a developmental solution that can build a foundation.
Alright, so Miss Liano, kindly open your mic, please.
The World Bank is likely to face several global challenges in the coming years, which may include the following. First, impact of pandemic and health crisis. The World Bank can work with the member countries to strengthen healthcare system, invest in pandemic preparedness, and support equitable vaccine distribution. It can also provide financial and technical assistance to help countries mitigate the economic impact of health crisis. Second, food security and agricultural sustainability. The World Bank can support agricultural development, promote sustainable farming practices, and invest in rural infrastructure. It can also work with the countries to enhance food security through improved access to nutritious food and social safety nets.
So all in all, the World Bank institution continues to evolve and adapt. Yes, there is no such thing as ending poverty, but the World Bank strives to address global development challenges and promote sustainable economic growth and well-being in countries worldwide to reduce poverty. Note that ending poverty is different from reducing poverty. All we can do is to reduce it and minimize its effect. So its role remains critical in the ongoing pursuit of a more equitable and prosperous world. Thank you so much for listening. That is our presentation, The World Bank.